What's up, nerds? My name is Steve from Flipping the Nerd, and this is my top 10 favorite video game characters. Decided to do some top 10s. I love making lists, so let's see how this goes. I'm going to start with my favorite video game characters, and we'll see if you agree and disagree, and I'd love to talk about it, so write in the comments. I love to interact with you guys. So before we go into the top 10, I'm just going to say 5 quick honorable mentions, just because I want to kind of talk about them, but they're not necessarily in my favorites. In my honorable mentions, I have Kratos from God of War. Now, I haven't played the last God of War. It's on my very long to-do list of things that I really want to play, but even based off the old games, I thought the character was super cool. He was fun to play. The gameplay was awesome. The only reason that he's not in my top 10 is because I didn't emotionally relate to him, and that's something that maybe is addressed in the new God of War. He has that relationship with the son, and maybe we get to go deeper into that character. But without that context, I just couldn't put him to my top 10. But awesome character nonetheless. Another one is Solid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid series. Absolutely love the series. And it's kind of the same thing where I never really felt a connection with Solid Snake, but he's such a cool character that I had to include him in my honorable mentions. In this case, I have played pretty much all the games that he's involved in, and he just missed my top 10, but needed to be mentioned. Then we have James Martin / Arthur Morgan from the Red Dead Redemption series. I'm not that far into Red Dead 2, although I did start it, so I couldn't say Arthur, but I did really enjoy James's story in the original, well, not the original, yeah, I guess the original Red Dead Redemption, but not the original from the series, which is Red Dead Revolver. It was a great story. I really connected with that character, but not quite to the level that he makes my top 10. And finally, I have to mention them because their games are some of my favorite of all time, but even though I'm excited to see the characters, it's just not the type of characters I'm into as far as my favorites, and that's Mario and Link. Great games. I mean, some of the best games ever. It's just, they don't really talk that much, so I never really connected with them. But they have to be mentioned because Mario and Link are absolute legends in the gaming industry. So let's go to the top 10. Number 10. I'm going to start right off the bat with one you'll probably never heard of. I hope you did. And a really kind of odd choice, but I'm going to say it anyway. That is Henry from the Firewatch game. Firewatch is a game where you play a park ranger for a summer where you watch, kind of take care of a section of a park, and you're completely alone for this entire time, and the only contact you have is with the other Firewatch stations, and you talk to this girl Delilah, and they have this really cool relationship as you're kind of watching this park. It's a short game, but I really felt connected with Henry. I really felt like this was me in a video game. The way he reacts, the way he talks, and his excitement about kind of falling for Delilah, and I won't go into spoilers because I think you should play this game, but it's an absolutely awesome game, and I really connected with this character. Now, I don't necessarily want a sequel because I think it was a nice contained story, but play Firewatch, check out what I'm talking about with Henry. You won't regret it. It's only 5-6 hours, and it's probably the oddest choice on my list, so I put him at number 10, but I did connect with that character so much that I want to include him. Number 9. Trevor from Grand Theft Auto 5. Total opposite ends of the spectrum, whereas Henry is kind of a really nice guy trying to take care of the forest, and falling for somebody. Trevor is an absolute Canadian psycho from the Grand Theft Auto series. The reason I like him is not because I connected with him and I don't relate to him, but maybe that's why I'm so interested in this character, is because I don't relate to him. He is completely different than what I am. You never knew what to expect with him. One of my favorite things that they put into that game is not only the cool dialogue and all the stuff, but you'd switch characters between three characters, and when you'd go back to a character after a while, you kind of join them in progress of what they were doing at the time. And with Trevor, it was always something crazy. Like, he'd be in bed with somebody like really weird, or he'd be doing coke, or it was just a weird character, and I absolutely enjoyed it. He made me laugh so much during that game, and I have to put him on my list because I had so much fun that entire ride playing Grand Theft Auto 5, one of my favorite games of all time. I mean, it's so massive in the things you can do. So, yeah, Trevor, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 8, GLaDOS from Portal. Now, this was a toss-up between GLaDOS and Wheatley from Portal 2. And it comes down to the same thing kind of as Trevor, where GLaDOS really made me laugh. Now, we only see the character at the end, but her voice is kind of carries out through the entire game, and the sarcasm and the delivery was just amazing. And I always remember this character. And if a game that's, I'd say 6-7 hours as well, can have such a lasting impression on me, and I still think about GLaDOS once in a while and laugh about some of the things she said. Yeah, I mean, you have to respect it. So I had to put her on here. I just love this character. She makes a return in Portal 2, which is awesome. Just as funny. And Wheatley, like I said, great character as well in Portal 2, kind of taking GLaDOS' role as the comic relief, and they're both great, but GLaDOS was the first one I saw, and I had to put her on here, so that's right. Number 7, Lara Croft. I've been playing Tomb Raider games since Tomb Raider 1. I bought Tomb Raider 1 pretty much when it was first released, and I just always enjoyed that character. I loved following her on her adventures, Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3, and then kind of those other ones like Underworld, Underground, Underwater, I don't remember, Under Something, and Anniversary and all that stuff. And she's a great character. I always enjoyed her. But it wasn't until the recent string of games, the last trilogy that she's done, that I really connected with her, and I really enjoyed her adventure and got to really know who Lara is and what Lara does, and that's why I put her on the list. She maybe would have been on the list anyway because, you know, it was like in late high school, college that I was playing her adventures before, but with that new trilogy, she definitely had to be on here. Absolutely great character that I'm glad is getting love again and just putting out some amazing, amazing games. Number 6, Ellie from The Last of Us. Now, again, this is kind of a two-punch combo. Without Ellie, Joel wouldn't have been as interesting. Without Joel, Ellie wouldn't be as interesting. But I had to pick one character. That was my rule. And I think out of Joel and Ellie, I preferred Ellie more. She had kind of a deeper storyline going on. I really enjoyed her story arc in The Last of Us, which is just, it's in my top 5 games of all time. So that goes to show you just how much I love that game. And she's a great character, and this is only based on one game. I really look forward to The Last of Us Part 2. It seems to be following Ellie's story a little bit more. The DLC, I forget what it's called, that was part of The Last of Us, followed Ellie, and that was a great DLC as well. So Ellie is definitely a top contender here, putting her at number 6. And great character, can't wait to see what she does next. Number 5, Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War. Love, love, love Gears of War. I play, as soon as they come out, I buy Gears of War and I play the hell out of them. And Marcus is such a great character. So when you first see Marcus, when I bought Gears of War 1, you look at him and he's a big brute. I mean, the guy is just massive and giant. And you think this is going to be just a stereotypical big brute guy. It's a big guy with a chainsaw, you know, chainsawing some grub. And it's just, you have kind of a stereotype expectation of what it's going to be like. But he turns out to be a really honorable, very just like caring character, and I didn't see that coming. He has his rough side, to be sure, but he also has his kind of more sensitive, emotional side. And seeing his arc through Gears of War 1, 2, 3, and now 4, it's just been an amazing experience. I absolutely love this character. I bought the statue of Gears of War 1 when it came out because it was Gears of War 3. Sorry, Gears of War 3. Because it was such a great character, and I love having him kind of in my basement with some of my other favorite characters. So, absolutely, Marcus Phoenix deserves to be on this list. Number 4, Cortana. Again, similar to the Ellie Joel situation, I think Master Chief and Cortana from the Halo series need each other. I think they're very much involved with each other, and one doesn't work as well without the other. And that was evidenced in, spoiler alert, Halo 5, where Cortana isn't there. And you miss her presence. So that was one of my big complaints about Halo 5, is that I miss Cortana's presence. And when it came down to choosing why Cortana over Master Chief, is she has the more interesting storyline and the more interesting arc throughout the series. I've just played through all of the Halos again recently with some of my friends, and Cortana's a very interesting character, and I really enjoyed kind of watching where she went and seeing what happened. So Cortana, definitely on my list. Very interesting character. I hope she makes a return in Halo 6 or maybe Halo 7 or wherever they're going to go with her. But I want to see this character again. Just a very interesting character. Voiced amazingly, so Cortana for sure. Number 3. Guybrush Threepwood from the Monkey Island series. Monkey Island is one of the first games I remember playing when I was a kid. I loved the point-and-click adventure series, and there was no one better than Guybrush Threepwood. He's hilarious, he's relatable, he's a fun character to play. I loved seeing all the different things he would say throughout the series. Just an amazing character. I absolutely love this guy. He doesn't get the love he deserves, especially now. We haven't seen anything Monkey Island related in quite a while. I would love to see this series make a resurgence. I don't know where the rights are. It was LucasArts that made those games, so it could be tied into Disney somehow, but I know that the creators are kind of trying to get it back, and it's a whole thing. But we still have the games from the past, and at least we got a remaster on, I think it was the Xbox 360. I don't know if it was on PS3, probably. So at least we got to see a little bit of Monkey Island. I got to play it kind of as an adult with better graphics, and that was cool. But what it comes down to is Guybrush Threepwood's an amazing character. I hope we see him again. I would love to see a movie of Monkey Island. That's a whole other list that I'm building, where video games I'd like to see turn into movies. But Guybrush Threepwood, amazing character. Love him. Number 2, Clementine from The Walking Dead, or Telltale's The Walking Dead. Who knew that so high on the list I would have such a connection with a 10-year-old girl? But the way they wrote her, the way her arc goes from The Walking Dead season 1 to season, I guess, 4, but I haven't played 4 yet, it's still being released, is just amazing. I immediately felt the need to protect this little girl throughout this entire series. She's a very lovable character. Of course, because it's a choose-your-own-adventure kind of thing, where you choose your dialogue and things happen depending on how you answer, the Clementine I built was very caring, very nice, wanted to help people. That's not necessarily the way that you can build your Clementine, and that's what makes this series so interesting. But great character. Loved seeing her arc, especially in season 1, man. Season 1 is just so good. I mean, if you like this type of game, even if you don't like the Walking Dead series per se, you need to check out Telltale's The Walking Dead season 1. It's a great story of a father figure and trying to protect, and they're not. It's not her dad. It's just somebody who they find each other in this post-apocalyptic world, and they kind of help each other, and it's a great storyline, and you will care for Clementine by the end of it. I guarantee it. If you don't, I question your heart, sir or ma'am. But amazing character. It's coming to an end, and I think it's time to come to an end. You know, we've seen a lot through this character, and there's a lot of controversy about the fourth game, but I won't go into that. What it comes down to is Clementine's an amazing character, and you should play these games to find out why. Number 1. Ezio Auditore di Firenze from Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations. Assassin's Creed may be my favorite series of all time. Of any of the series that I mentioned, I've played through every single one of them, except I just downloaded Odyssey, so I'm going to get into that one. There are a lot of great characters to choose from. I particularly liked Bayek of Siwa from the Origins. I really liked Altair, although it was the first one, so I liked him, but he doesn't really talk much. So compared to some of the other characters, maybe not so much anymore. There were just I love the twins, Evie and Jacob Fry from which one was that? The industrial one in Britain. I forget the name right now, but they're just great characters. But when it comes down to it, nobody holds a candle yet to Ezio di Firenze, Ezio Auditore di Firenze, from the Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelation series. You literally follow this character from his birth in Assassin's Creed 2 to, if you watch the post movie, I think it's Embers, to his death. So you follow this character throughout his entire existence, from the baby to being a kid in the beginning of Assassin's Creed 2. Then he's a young assassin in 2. Then he's a more experienced 30s, 40s assassin in Brotherhood, and then you go into him as an older man, maybe his 50s or 60s. It's not quite clear exactly how old he is in Assassin's Creed Revelation, and then Embers shows what happens afterwards until the day that he dies. Love this character, amazing, greatly voiced, and I just adore this character. I loved playing him. I'm bummed out that his series ended, but I get it. 3 Assassin's Creed with him. And like I said, they've had such great characters since that I'm still loving the series, especially now. It's on a resurgence with Origins and Odyssey, apparently. So I'm super excited about the series, but Ezio is my favorite assassin in my favorite video game series. So he wins my number 1 spot on this list. I would love to know, who are some of your favorite video game characters? Any of them I mentioned? Let me know in the comments. Do you disagree with me? Do you agree with me? I'd like to have a little chit chat about it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all on the flip side.